Oh, hello, my gays, my straights, my matriarchs, my 6.3% patriarchs. Welcome to another episode of the Millennial Matriarch Podcast. I am your host, Alexis, Lexi, and I am joined by my beautiful, funny co-host, ATD. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Two things. Can't believe we're at 6.3 patriarchs. The numbers are growing with the men. I'm thrilled.
I know. And it's funny because we hate on men a lot here.
I know. You know what? They're here to get an education. Maybe the haters from a few episodes ago that were commenting on our TikTok promos are here to really check out the context. Let's hope. The second thing is that I want to acknowledge that I'm wearing Christmas pajamas and we're well into February. I just can't let it go. Okay? I want it to be cozy. If you're on the YouTube.
I thought you were looking like a little farmer chic. I wasn't upset because last week you looked too good, in my opinion. And so today I was editing our podcast that is coming out tomorrow. And I was looking at it and I was like, I look like a trash goblin, but Ashlie looked great. So I texted her today and I said, I'm going to come like I need to be on the camera. And I'm really glad that you took one for the team and let me be pretty today. So not that you're not pretty, not that you're not pretty.
But Alexis did say, turn it down, bitch. And I said, okay. So I showered before this, but that's about it.
Anyway, I am very, very, very excited for this week's episode because Ashlie and I are on a nice little guest streak. And we are joined by my very best friend, my A1 day one, Lissy. Welcome to the Millennial Matriarch.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Are you? Are you shake it out?
I am. No, I'm pumped.
I know you already know this question, but we ask all of our guests this because obviously if we're talking about matriarchs, you have to have a castle. So bitch, what the fuck does your castle look like?
When I thought of this question, I really was trying to figure out like what that would be, right? My mind immediately went to like who's in my castle because I feel like I like thrive with those like
So
relationships.
you're bringing
and, like,
people
my
in your
people.
castle?
Like I
Oh.
thought of my people first, and then I
Am
was
I
like,
in
okay,
your
wait.
castle?
Yes, I mean you
Oh,
don't
that
live
was
with
the
me,
delay.
so if you not on the daily, but you could visit my castle.
Yeah.
It will allow some.
Okay. So who is in your castle?
I mean, definitely my husband's in my castle.
Well,
That's about it. And my cats. Other than that, my castle's closed for visitors until I open the doors. But I think like the thing that I thought of for me, right, is a place that Alexis knows I am a homebody. I am like the simple pleasures, like give me some cozy pajamas and a good book and coffee and like I'm set. So it would definitely be like I need some sort of view. I would have like either water, mountains outside, windows everywhere. I want to see everything. I would need definitely a library. That's the reader in me. I need like a cozy nook, lots of cozy chairs. Let's think what else I'd want in my castle. Good food. So I'm a big
So do you have a
foodie.
chef or are you cooking?
I feel like I need both. Like, cause I like to cook, but I also know that I'm not nearly as good as I think I am in comparison to others. So I would
No,
need
your
a chef.
husband eats your food. He's happy.
Something to like walk, just like I need my walking pad, I need a treadmill. That's about it. Like I'm very simple. I'm an easy person. I really love the small things. So other than that, some coffee, books, I'm good.
Ashlie, I need to give you context. So Alyssa and I have been best friends since we were 12
Forever.
and forever. And nobody likes a walk like her family. Like, I don't think you understand.
We do
Alyssa,
family walks.
they do family walks like after meals.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, the Alyssa and I have gone on countless walk. Like
Yeah.
the girl, like they love to walk.
I think it's like a reflection thing, right? Like dinner, we do a good walk.
For fitness or for mental or for digestion after a meal.
I think it's enjoyment and it's like a let's just walk and chat. I like thrive in those conversations. Alexis and I used to walk the boulevard
We still
all the
walk. When I
time.
come home, we still walk.
Yes, we do. And it's just like a good time to chat.
I get a walk and talk is very powerful.
It is just really funny.
And are you like working up a sweat or it's really just a leisurely stroll? What's your preference?
It is a leisurely stroll.
No,
We
but, like, you
usually
definitely are working at it. You are moving at a pace. Like, your mother is not like a lollygagger. Like,
no,
she's
no, no. We're
walking with
fast
purpose.
walkers. We're definitely fast walkers, but I don't think that, like, I don't do it for the sweat. I do it for, like, just to chill.
Are you, though, turkey trotters? Like, does this translate into,
No,
like,
no.
do the people,
I am
the
nowhere
people,
near a runner.
the people get up on Thanksgiving and they run a 5K, which, hey, maybe one day it'll be
You mean
me.
like Alexis?
My family is a turkey
Trying
trotter
to call you
family.
out there. Listen, I'm not judgmental. I'm just jealous.
I don't really know how it started, but there was like a good streak where we were doing the turkey trot like for
Yes.
many years in Maryland before Thanksgiving.
That's
And
commitment.
I don't really know how it started. I do know that it stopped once we started doing Thanksgiving in
Your
Utah.
dad for sure started it.
Definitely my dad. Like, I have so many and guess what? You know what the best thing is? The entire family would go minus my grandmother and my mother because somebody had to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, someone had to make sure the house didn't burn down.
Yes, all the food.
That, needless to say, that's why I'm not surprised that Alyssa would have some kind of track and or walking pad. But I need to know, is it like, what does your castle look like on the outside? Like, my castle looks like a Scottish castle. Ashlie, what does your castle look like on the outside?
Modern farmhouse, black and white, string lights.
Ooh,
The basic bitch you think I am, that's what it looks like. Big backyard.
that's a vibe. I feel like I could do that. I could also do like an Italian villa, like
Fits.
beautiful, beautiful statues. I don't know.
Archways.
I love the history. Yes, some beautiful archways, some columns. But I want like all white, maybe some ivory. That's about it.
This is so Alyssa's Italian, and I joke that she went from one super vowel-y last name to another super vowel-y last name because her husband is also Italian.
Yes.
Perfect.
But you have not been to Italy. So
No.
so
But I
I
will
think
be soon. I will be soon.
Are you good? Yeah.
do you want
It's
to
time.
tell the folks how you're going to Italy?
Of course. So we booked our honeymoon in the end of May. We're flying to Rome, and then neither of us have been to Europe, but I wanted Italy, he wanted Greece. So we're like, how do we compromise? And so we're going to be in Rome for a few days, and then we're going to do a cruise of like the Greek islands. So we're hitting Naples, Capri, Santorini, Mykonos. We're going to Turkey. So I am so excited. I literally can't wait to just eat and drink and chill, and I don't have to drag my suitcase anywhere. It's gonna be on a cruise ship,
I
so
am
I'm set.
so jealous. Greece is like top 2, 3 places I wanna go, and I
Highly
love the
recommend.
idea of you, like, hopping around so you get to see, like, I'm like, "Oh, like, sometimes I could take or leave a cruise, but the beauty of a cruise is being able to go to so many different places." Ah, that sounds amazing.
Have you ever been on a cruise, Ashlie?
Yes. I've been on, like, 3.
Oh, you're a cruise girl.
Ooh.
Not I mean, like I said, it's like, you kinda take it or leave it, but I went on a lot of them when I was younger because they're so affordable. Like, the ones that go to, like, the
Mhm. Oh,
Caribbean, the
totally.
Bahamas, like, you can literally go on, like, a payment plan and pay, like, $20 a week, and, like, it'll pay for your whole thing within a few months. Like, I'm exaggerating, but it's so cost effective, and I would go with friends, and we would all, like, sorry, Caribbean or Royal Caribbean, but we would, like, go in on one drink card because you have to get, like, an unlimited, some of them are, like, all-inclusive, and
You
some of them
have
you
to
have to,
get
like,
the
get
unlimited drinks.
100%,
Absolutely.
but we would all go in on it together, and then we would just have, like, the one per it would be tied to one person so that we didn't have to buy one for each of us, and then we would just have that person, like, constantly get the drinks. They don't question you on those things. Anyway, it was a time.
That's smart.
Those kinds of cruises, the ones that go, like, to those places, like, I think we went to, like, Bermuda one time. The cruises themselves can be a little more, like, kitschy. I don't know how else to describe it, but, like, you're on a floating island, and to Alyssa's point, like,
Yes.
your shit can just stay there in your room, and you get to, like, bop around to all
That
these
is
places.
true.
And there's always activities going on the ship
Lots
itself.
of
Like,
activities.
there's so much to do regardless of where
Yeah.
you are. Love that. Love that for you.
I've only been on one cruise, and I was on a Heather McMahon comedy cruise, so I cannot sit here and act like I'm a cruise expert or that I was
Wait,
on
you
any kind
did
of
that?
normal cruise. Yes, I was there in April. I went on the cruise in April.
Is this when you drank all their wine?
Yeah, we actually drank the boat out of, like, Sauvignon Blanc. Like, we made friends. I went with 2 friends, and we obviously made friends with, the waiters, the waitresses,
Everyone.
the staff, we're talkers. And we found out that they were like, we've never seen a cruise drink like this, like drink
Bravo.
from sun up to sundown. But I have to say this, because I think there were a total of 6 men on the boat, and they were either gay or a husband. I was getting hammered and going off to the casino by myself. Did not feel unsafe for 1 second. Was not worried.
That's a really good point. Not only do, like, women stereotypically, like, drink more wine than men, I think, but yeah, you're surrounded by all women, so you're like, "I'm gonna go ham sandwich on this bitch and drink a bottle of Savy every
Yeah,
night." Wait, did you get to meet
it
her?
it was way more than a bottle.
At
It was
least
way
one.
I have a photo with her.
I love Heather McMahon.
Wait, I just need to laugh really quickly. Sorry, I just got a text message from my husband, and I only reason I saw it is I saw his name. He just texted me to tell me that he has to record an emergency podcast, so something must have happened in the sports world. So
Oh, an emergency. What could be an emergency?
so it's about to be the battle of the couples that need to podcast in the same home at the same time, but it's okay, we do it on different floors. But anyway, so you all are probably like, Alexis, not that you don't love your best friend, not that we don't love your best friend, because yes, you all do, or else you can't listen anymore. That's my rule. Um, we are here to talk about friendship because obviously Alyssa and I have been best friends for 20 plus years. Ashlie also has a ton of long term, when I say a ton of long, you have a core group.
Thought you were gonna be like, "Ashley also has a ton of friends. You would never know it, but she also has friends."
No, but you have a core group of friends that you've been with, that you've
Yeah,
been
long
friends with for
time.
like your entire life.
Yep.
So this was a topic that Ash and I have literally been talking about for months. We have talked about it in many different variations. So I'm sure this will not be the first or last or only podcast where we talk about friendship. But I think one of the things that makes Alyssa and I's friendship so special, and I guess all of Ashley's friendships now because she moved to Texas, is we are in a long distance friendship. So Alyssa still lives in Jersey, where I'm from. I'm obviously in Boston. I left Jersey to go to college in 2010, and much to Alyssa's dismay, I have not returned.
Yep.
So I thought no, Ashley, at every opportunity, she's like, "So you coming home? You gonna move back?"
It's still home.
Yeah.
I don't care. I always
It is
say that.
home.
Home.
It will always be home. But I thought that we could start off this podcast by talking about, how do you and I stay so close when we live so far apart?
I mean, I think, the interesting thing is, yes, I always try to get you home, right? But I also think that we, through the years, have been talking at different points in our life, right? Some days we talk literally nonstop, like all day long. Other times we're FaceTiming. Other times there's weeks that go by. When she was in college, there were like months that went by. And I think that just explains our friendship, which is that I cannot talk to her for months and then we're like, oh my God, right? Like, I think as time has gone by, we've kind of been through these different stages of our life together, that I know what she's doing, she knows what I'm doing, we know we're both a phone call away, but we've just accepted that sometimes we're gonna talk more than we normally do. Um, and I think it just comes down to, like, it's life, right? Like, we're both busy, we're both doing different things. I knew that, and I still know that, Alexis is the person that I'm gonna call if anything happens, right? I wanna talk to her. I'm like, "Oh my god, you're not gonna believe this," whether it be about work, about life, about relationship, anything, right? She's always the person that I call, and whether I didn't talk to her for, like, months and then I call her, or I talk to her, like, for an hour on the phone and just FaceTime and stare at each other as we're cooking. I think we just,
I
like,
love a
make it.
FaceTime cook call.
She does. But she starts, like, vacuuming, and then she starts doing this and that. I'm like, "I can't hear you. The water's running." Yeah, so I think, like, that has helped us over the years of just, like, acknowledging the fact that we go with life.
Yeah, and that brings up, like, a great point, like, I think because like Alexis mentioned, like most, I would pretty much all of my good friends are super long distance from me as well. And like, yes, sometimes do I schedule calls with my friends to like sit down and like connect? Sure. But most of the time it's, I'm in the middle of this, I'm doing this, but we're going to talk anyway because life is going, but it's not going to like stop me from connecting with you. So, hey, talk to me while I cook, talk to me while I'm in the shower. I'm just kidding. Talk to me while I'm doing my makeup cuz I'm going out in 20 minutes but wanted to catch up. Like that's just kind of what happens, right? Cuz you're not going to always have like time to schedule like a date.
No, it's true. And actually, you're really, because so Ashley does this. I do not do this. Well, you and I have talked about doing this, but I don't think we've ever actually done it. Ashley schedules like FaceTime dates with her friends. Like
Oh,
she'll be like, "Oh, I'm talking to my friend like Tuesday at 4."
that's helpful.
Well, keep everybody together.
It's not always possible, it doesn't happen often, like, I resonated with what you were saying, Alyssa, about, like, sometimes you talk to someone every day for a week, and sometimes you don't talk to them for months, and
Mhm.
that happens, but every once in a while, it's like, "Hey, like, we haven't chatted and we haven't yapped in a while, like, without distraction, let's do that." And it's kinda like scheduling sex, like, yeah, it doesn't sound very sexy or romantic, but, like, if it's important to the relationship, you should do
It
it.
works.
I fully believe in scheduled sex, by the way. Yeah, I think that, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People get busy, people's lives move in different directions. And I think, one of the things that I have said forever is that people grow and change. But they don't always grow and change together. But it's a beautiful thing when they do. So Alyssa and I met when we were in 6th grade. We met in, I think, science class.
Yes, Dr. O's
Ew.
class.
Um, but I think what's even funnier is that, and I told this story at Alyssa's bridal shower, is that my mom worked with her uncle for
Mhm.
like years,
Forever. We didn't even know.
forever. We had no idea. So what happened is like one day Alyssa called my house
The
and my
landline.
mom, the landline, right? Because we didn't have cell phones yet.
Of course.
And my mom saw the caller ID and saw, the last name, and she was like, "Hey, like, who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my new friend Alyssa." And she was like, "Oh, is her father like so and so?" And I was like, "No, that's her uncle." But
Yeah.
my mom knew like everything about their family, like the Sunday dinner
Ew.
schedule. And it was actually really sweet. I didn't tell you this, Alyssa, but at your wedding, your uncle came up to me and was like telling me all these like really sweet stories about my mom and like
Oh, that's
how
awesome.
influential my mom was on like his career. Because come to find out, my mom was his boss, and I didn't even know
Oh.
that. Yeah, I always say Alyssa and I were destined to be best friends even before.
Is the town you grew up in small, like, in terms of population?
I mean, I guess it's bigger than I would think, because we had
Alyssa, it's
2 high
big
schools, we had 2 middle schools, like
for the
so, I
same
mean, it
for
was
one
large.
town though, for one
Yeah.
town. So like it's not impossible that like my mom would have worked with her uncle, but it's like so many of things would have had to line up.
Yes.
And like even though Alyssa and I grew up in the same town, we didn't meet until we were in middle school because we went to two different elementary schools.
Gotcha.
And then the crazy thing too is that, like, our sisters ended up playing soccer together.
Yeah, our sisters are the same age.
Yeah.
I know you're the oldest, Alexis. Are you the oldest, Alyssa? Like, did your little sister play with?
I'm the middle child, and yes, I have middle child syndrome.
She
Um,
does.
I have a little sister and I have an older sister.
I actually have to say, I think it's really funny having like, because I have a lot of my friends are the oldest child. And I just think that I think something happens there. But it's funny because Alyssa can play both sides. Like she knows what it's like to be the younger sister, and then she knows what it's
Right.
like to be the older sister.
Right, because you are an older sister, but you are also a younger sister.
Right, and it's funny because her and her older sister, like, we were freshmen in high school when her older sister was a senior in high
Yep.
school. So,
Yep.
like, they're not far apart in age, but then our sisters are 5.5 years younger than us. Alyssa helps me understand certain things with my sister that I don't understand because I think that while not the same, Alyssa's relationship with her older sister, there are like some commonalities with my younger sister and I that are just, I think some of it is like happenstance. I think some of it is like totally birth order.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so Alyssa helps me like understand like when I'm like fighting with my sister and I say things. Well, Alyssa's just also, I mean, just has a good heart, but she'll be like, well, Alexis, you're difficult. Like, you can be a lot. And, your sister.
Like, I go back to, like, that's what your friend should be, right? Like, your
Yeah.
friend should tell it to you straight. They should support you to an extent, but also you should get that, like, tough love, right? Like, I
Hmm.
expect that from Alexis, and that's what I give to her. So, you can't sugarcoat everything. So that's why I'm like, like, I'll tell you when you're wrong. I'll also
Yes,
tell
she
you,
does.
like, and she does the same to me. I'll tell you what I think you should do, but I'm big on, like, the perspective thing, right? Like, oftentimes I'll be like, "Oh, well, I probably feel like this," and Alexis does that too now. So we balance each other out. We're very different people, but we do balance each other out.
I mean, if our castles didn't tell you at all that
Right.
we're different people,
Yeah,
then
literally.
but it
Exactly.
it makes me laugh though, because like so Alyssa obviously came to my bachelorette party. And it's so funny because on my bachelorette party, I think I had 12 girls, and there were 4 girls there that are my college best friends who Ashley knows them because for those of you who are new, Ashley and I went to college together. Ashley and Alyssa have actually met prior to this podcast recording. Um and like Alyssa is all of their favorites. And I'm like, yeah, she has to be. Like, because I say this, like, there's certain people in your life that you can like make excuses for. Like, if some of my friends didn't get along with my husband or didn't get along with somebody in my life, I'd be like, oh, well, whatever. If Alyssa doesn't
Yeah.
like you, there's something wrong with you. Our next topic, the evolution of friendships and going from childhood to adulthood. I mean, you and I just got married. So we're like, now we're in a new phase of life. And, that has presented challenges. It's actually really funny. I don't know if I told you this. I was home for Christmas or something because I was home every other weekend in November, it felt like. And I had my high school yearbook, my senior year, and all 4 of my high school yearbooks, Alyssa has signed in the same page for all 4. So I went
Creature of
and
habit over here.
right. Well, no, you made me save it for you. Do you not remember we all had to do that? Like you had to like save spots for people in your yearbook. But
Yeah.
I I went and read it, and one of the things she said to me was, "Don't get in too much trouble in Boston." And I texted her and I was like, "She absolutely did get in too much trouble in Boston."
Yep, and I knew this. That was trying to be preventative.
It was really funny reading that in hindsight because I think what a lot of people don't talk about is like that transition is tough. Like we
Yeah.
had a hard time when I went away to college. Like Alyssa felt like I was turning into somebody that maybe I wasn't. And I felt like she was being overprotective, which she is, but that's why I love her. Talk to me about that. Like, what was that like from your perspective?
As you have when you have friendships, they, like, weed out as you get older, like, truthfully. I think you have, like, in high school, you're friends with everyone, right? It's like, "Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that," and those friends are, like, you go to parties, you are just hanging out. If you're like us, we were drinking in, like, movie theater parking lots and fields, random
Heard about
fields,
that.
jumping in cars that we didn't know, like, where we were going, but I think those types of friendships, right, are the ones that you're like, "All right, this is fun for now," and then you slowly remove them from your life because you're like, "This is temporary." Um, and I think with Alexis and, she knows that I'm the type of person is I keep my friends very close, right? Like, so
Alyssa doesn't
even though
like
she's
people.
no, I don't. I like animals more, but I think
Fair.
I'm just like I give so much that I need people to give that back to me, and if they don't, I don't wanna be your friend. Like, if you're not gonna
Mm.
give anything to the friendship, then I'm not gonna be there to always pick you up, right? And so I think, yes, like, sometimes you do have to give more, out of give more at a certain time depending on what your friend needs, but as you get older, I feel like you have to adapt to that. And so with Alexis going away, I was like, okay, it's going to be different. It's going to change our friendship, right? Like, I'm not going to talk to her all the time. She's going to be going out. It was different. Like, I lived at home, I commuted to school, right? Like, we have very different versions of what fun is. Like, of course, we love to like drink, but like I was sitting home and going to like a house party, and she's out
Yeah.
on the town doing God knows what. And she probably doesn't even know what
Likely
she's
with
doing.
Ashley some nights.
At some point. Later, much later.
Like, no, she did so many fun things that, like, don't get me wrong, and that's part of it too, is like, oh, I wish I did more when I was younger in that extent of like going away to school. But I also don't think it didn't change our friendship in any way. But I think I had to learn that she has to do those things for her, right?
Yeah.
And that was part of it, is just accepting that person, accepting what she's gonna do. I might not do that, but that's who she is. And like Alexis has always been the one, you tell her not to do something, she's gonna do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
it's me, her husband, anyone else, right? Like, she's always gonna do the opposite.
You
So I think
can't
it's
you
just
can't you
adjusting
can't
to
tell me
that
what to
too.
do. Well, I also remember, like, so because I spent so much time with Alyssa's family growing up, which, like, I think is, like, such a beautiful thing. Like, I say this all the time. The reason I'm, like, tough as nails is because I spent so much time with her family. And I remember, like, our senior year, like, sitting at the table with, like, your mom, your dad, and your sister, and your dad being like, "You're gonna go wild." They were like, "I don't know why your parents are letting you go away. You're gonna go wild."
Like, let it
That's
rip.
why we gotta get her the fuck out of here.
And and the thing is, it's like, I would love to hear your perspective, Alyssa, and, like, even yours too, Ashley, like, it but reflecting on your own experience, like, I don't think would never describe myself as a sheltered kid. I wouldn't say, like, my parents were strict, but they weren't like, it wasn't like I wasn't allowed to leave the house. So I did think it was so interesting and funny that, like, so many people were like, "She's gonna go away and she's gonna go crazy." And I'm like, but it's not like I grew up in such a restricted household. But what I realized it was later on, I wasn't worried about the reflection that my actions would have on my family.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
what happened.
Well, I think that too, and then also, like, there was nothing to do around us either. Like, where are we gonna go, right? Like I said, we were in movie theater parking lots and, like, fields. Like, there's not much to do. So I think that, yeah, like, that was a piece of it too, but it's also, like, no one's watching. Like, it's almost like you could rebrand yourself in another place. That no one knows who you are. You could explore whatever you want. You could do whatever you want and be whoever you wanna be, right? And that's why a lot of people like that fresh start of, like, moving somewhere new and doing that. So I think that was a piece of it. It's like, I wanna do what I wanna do, and she did. She
And I
did.
did. Well, Ashley, what do you think? Because, like, you also didn't you spend freshman year in Spain?
Second half of sophomore year. So yeah, I was abroad for like 4 months. When you guys were talking, I was thinking like, yeah, like I resonate with sort of the shift that happens. Like, yes, people grow, people change, but you go from seeing each other, conceivably every day, doing the same activities. And then one or both of you gets plucked from that environment, placed somewhere else, hopefully by choice, and you start having independent experiences.
Yep.
And I don't know if you ever felt this way, either of you, but like, you get back together with your friends after not seeing them for a long time, after those like first couple, maybe it's that first Thanksgiving break after college or that first weekend that you go home, and you're realizing that you've been living this whole life. And so there's so many inside jokes you've built up with new people, new friends, that they don't know who you're referencing or who you're talking about or what joke you're making, or why you're wearing that certain thing. My friends were never critical, but I think there's another presence in the room with you,
Yep.
and it's, oh, I have no idea what I went from knowing what you did every day, talking to you every day, making all of our social plans together, to now having no idea what you do day to day other than like the little tidbits you tell me, because otherwise there's too much to say and you wouldn't understand.
Yep, yep.
There is that sort of like gaping, I don't want to say hole, but there's like a presence in the friendship. And
Yes.
for me, and it sounds like for both of you, it dissipates. It dissipates. Maybe you start to blend worlds, maybe you visit each other, maybe you meet each other's friends, and then at some point there's just a maturity that happens where your older friends don't need to know every single minute detail that happens in this whole life that you have without them, because they have one without you.
Yep.
But it doesn't feel like tension. It just gets easier. But that's if you grow with someone. You don't
Right.
always grow with
No.
someone. I have a friend that I've been friends with since I was 3 years old.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Talk about a crapshoot. Like, you
yeah.
never
Yeah.
know, like, that people are gonna
Mhm.
grow together, and listen, I think part of that is because there's a lot of different facets to me, and I think that different friends serve different purposes in your
Totally.
life,
100%.
and
Yeah.
I think that I'm gonna use the word chameleon, even though that doesn't have the greatest connotation, but I think, like, I'm certain ways with certain people, and maybe that's why it works, but also, that's just luck. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just
Yeah.
lucky that, like, I happen to have commonalities with those people still, and it brings us together. That I think, like, is just luck. I don't know that you work at that. I think, yes, there's work that goes into friendships, but I don't think that just, like, happens all the time where you are able to grow together enough that you're the people 20 years later that are standing up in each other's weddings.
Like I think of all the people that, we went to high school with that like nothing necessarily happened. We're not friends anymore. Or even like certain friends where like something did happen and like now I see that these people are hitting new stages in their life and I'm like, "Oh my god, congratulations. Like I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you." But I think Alyssa, one thing I don't know if I've ever told you this, but cuz we've talked a lot about kind of like the difficulty that we had when cuz I was the one that left, right? Alyssa stayed home, but a lot of people that we went to high school with stayed local. So
Yep.
what happened is I went away, but
Yeah.
then Alyssa got closer to people that we were either all friends with or that, they just now were in the same college together and like that like pulled them tighter. So it was like I'm really good at being the person who like goes off. I have a really hard time feeling like I'm the person that's being left. And, like,
Mm.
that was even, like, a
Interesting.
transition that was even a transition for me because whereas, like, I was going off and having new experiences with new people, you were having new experiences with, like, people that we both knew,
Yep.
but it
Yep.
was, like but then it wasn't that I was on the outs, but, like, I wasn't there.
I think that's something I still clock. I don't necessarily struggle with it, but I clock it.
Yeah.
Like, there is like, yeah, if you're the person that left, there's it's like, okay, well, you chose that, but also there's a little FOMO for that for the friends
Yeah.
that are still because they get to all like I have
Uh-huh.
2 friends specifically from high school. We're kind of a threesome.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to say
Well,
that, but
it's okay.
we're
A non-sexual threesome.
we're a tripod, and they see each other so much more often, and listen, am I jealous? Yeah. It's all good, we've worked it out, but yeah, there's always been periods where I'm like, "Damn, like, I missed that
Yeah.
party," or "I missed that inside joke," and, like, it's not like, it's okay, it's just sometimes it sucks where you're like, "Oh, FOMO, like, I wish I could have that connection with them too. Even though I'm having all these other experiences and I chose this and I'm happy, damn, like I'm missing out on some things." And that's part of the long distance friend, not to go back to that, but that's part of the long distance thing.
Yeah, I think, like, it's twofold though, right? Because then it's the same way for the person that stayed is like, "Oh my god, they're doing all of these things, like, how
Yeah.
cool," right? And they're meeting all these people. I remember for, like, the one of the first times that Alexis like, I met her friends, and they were like, "Oh, Lexi, blah, blah, blah," and I was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "I don't know that." I was like, "That's Alexis." It was just so
I
fu it was, like, such a little thing though, but, like, I was like, "Who is Lexi?"
That's a great
That is
example.
actually that is actually how you can tell because people that I have become friends with in my adult life, like college and like beyond, they will call me Lexi. Whereas like
Interesting.
growing up, I was always like at home, I'm Alexis.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Alyssa's like, that's not her government name.
I know, I
How
was
dare
like,
you?
I'm not sure who that is. Are we talking about the same person?
Is Lexi in the
That
room
is
with us?
really that is that is really funny.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
It's not like a
It's so
like a
silly.
it's not a like disastrous, sad, like awful thing. It's just like, oh, it's like a little like thing that you picked up on that's like, okay, like that's the
Yeah, and
difference.
that was an adjustment for me. I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What do they know about her that I don't know?"
Well, they
And
know
it
everything about me, but you do too.
yeah. Alexis is an oversharer, if you guys
we're
haven't realized.
we're
She's mentioned
I
it
would
and we know.
You know what I actually I would love to talk to both of you about this because I think that all of us can relate in different ways. I have struggled with oversharing since I was a child. Like, I am an open book. And, I think that, like, I have been able to connect with a lot of people because of that. I actually talked to Alyssa's husband about, so this is funny because he and I are similar in this way where it's like, do certain people get access to you no matter what? Like, her husband was telling me, like, yeah, I have a lot of friends, but like not everybody gets access to like my entire history book and like all of the nooks and crannies to me. And that is something that I struggle with, that like at the ripe old age of 33, I'm now having to be like, wait, not everybody should get access to me like that. Look at that. Ashley's like,
Okay.
whoa.
'Cause you know what? When you first said it, I thought that you meant, like, like physical access, like calls and FaceTimes, and I thought that you meant it
Mm,
like communication-wise. You
Mm,
mean like
layers.
emotional.
Yeah.
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, then I have a different opinion on it then.
What's your, wait, I want to hear it.
I think the people that I call my best friends, and yeah, there are more than one. I'm that girl. I have multiple
Yeah.
best friends.
Mhm.
No, full access. Like I don't think I'm not I would I'm not the opposite of you. I'm not an undersharer. But I guess I don't know. I guess I just things don't come up, like, or things that, like, maybe, like, a friend who's like, "Oh my god, like, I would have loved to have heard that." I'm like, "Oh, you would? Okay, whatever. Yeah, here's some details about that thing." Like, I guess I underplay certain things,
Yeah.
but I don't it's not intentional because I want those that group of best friends to have full access. Like, they know every dirty detail, every trauma, every, maybe not every minute of every day, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, what's going on, but in terms of like the things that are part of my history, yeah, they've got it all. Now I have friends, not best friends, friends where it's a totally different story. They know bits and
See, that was
pieces.
my problem.
Yeah.
I said this for the I
Everyone's
said
your
this
best friend.
I
Oh,
said this
okay.
up until September. I have best friends and I have acquaintances. So,
Oh, and
like,
nothing in between?
Alyssa, and nothing in between. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, not nothing, but it's just like, I have always prided myself on, a lot of people on the outside, you might think I'm superficial, but I'm actually like a very deep person. And I like want to know what keeps you up at night. I want to connect with you. Like, I like that, just like that's what interests me in people. But because of that, you wind up creating, I think in my life, I have thought that I've had like a false sense of security with certain people because I'm always so open and willing to share. We're like, I had a conversation with Alyssa back in September when we were walking the boulevard because, the girl loves to go on a
Of
walk.
course you were.
And she
Yes, I
said
can
to
Where
tell.
me,
you do
she
your
was like,
most important work.
Yes,
right.
exactly. Like a car.
And literally, and she said to me, she was like, listen, she was like, you are my best friend. She was like, you are the only person that knows everything about me. And she said to me, and she said, I think you need to be a little more careful with who knows everything about you. And let me tell you, she said this to me, and I was like, but Alyssa, I'm only telling like my best friends. And literally weeks later, the way it bit me in the ass in
Oh,
such a big way. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
that's
and
tough.
listen, this is not me being like feel sad for me thing. Like, I don't feel that way at all. Like, I'd rather know who somebody is because now I can choose, like, with that information,
Mhm.
what to do moving forward. But it's like, yeah, not everybody needs to know everything about me. And not everybody needs to know like what keeps me up at night or like mistakes that I have made in my life. Because yeah, there's most of the people in my life, I've been very fortunate, have been like really good, sweet, kind people who haven't used that information to hold it against me. But then I had a group of people who did.
Yeah, like you don't want to be a person that's massively guarded, but you don't want to be you do it. I think that's great advice, Alyssa, because you want your friend, you want to protect your friend, and you want your friend to protect themselves.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes, and I feel like I learned this, like my circle is so small,
Yeah.
And
right?
I will
Like,
always say this by choice because she's the
yes,
most
it
likable
is.
person
Right.
ever, but
It is.
it's
I
her
think, like,
choice.
I just don't it's not just even boundaries, I think it's, like, if I don't have an emotional, like, deep connection to that person and I don't feel like I could show them everything of who I am, like, I don't want you in my life, right? Whether it be relationships with, like, a relationship with my husband now or relationships with my friends, I'm very cautious, I guess you can say,
Uh-huh.
of that boundary and, like, showing who I am to certain people, right? Like, I feel like oftentimes people always say, like, "Oh, well, when you're so nice, you get walked all over." And so I think that, like, through certain things that have happened in my life, I've paid attention more towards friendships and things like that of like, "Oh, no, you only get this side of me." And, if I'm giving this, 80%, then I expect the 80% in return because like Alexa said, I do think that people unfortunately will take advantage. And if they're your true friend, no, they won't, right? But that's where it comes into a balance of like you have your friends and then you have your best friends and you have people who you see and like you can go out with and have fun and drink with. And then you have like your core people that you can call no matter what, that you don't have to hide. Like I'm waking up in the morning, FaceTiming Alexis. I'm like disheveled, like my makeup smeared all over my face the night before. And like I don't care. You should never have to be worried about like that person seeing who you truly are. And if you feel like you have to hide a certain part of yourself, like they're not your friend. If you have to worry about what you're saying, like they're not your true friend. Like certain people, I feel like make notes, right? They're like, oh, like I'm going to keep note of that. And I might not do it in that moment, but later on, I'm going to use that. And then, like, because they circle back to it and they're like, oh, remember when you did blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, you're going to use it against me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even for them sometimes, like, maybe it's not even conscious, it's just, like, how they
Yes.
are, and you're like, "Well, that's not really for me."
Hmm.
No. Sometimes your friends need to be like the mirror that you can't be. You can't be in the room when every conversation is being had about you. So, like, I'm sure there were situations where, like, Alyssa heard things or clocked something or, like, things that maybe would have gone right over my head. Or I am the worst at this. I will justify really poor behavior. Like, because I was actually talking to a different friend about this the other day, like, I think that I can see people for who they could be, and
Potential. Yep.
yes, and just like they say you can't date potential, you can't marry potential, you can't be friends with the potential. Like, I'm so quick to be like, "Oh, well, so and so is going through, like, a hard time," and Alyssa will be
Mhm.
like, "We're all going through a fucking hard time, but I'm not out here doing that,"
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
right, like, she's not wrong.
I said it
Yeah.
doesn't give them an excuse to act like that, right? Like, so you always have to go back to that is, yes, they could have a hard time. They could say something that's nasty or do something that you're like is out of character of them, but they still chose to do it. So like I always go back to like, no, you're an adult, right? And there's certain things that you should be able to own up to and be like, yeah, I messed up. But Alexis can say like I teach her all these things. She tells me things all the time that I'm like,
Yeah.
never thought of that, right? And, like, I think that's why she is a good friend, though, because she gives people grace, right? Like, she gives
Too much.
them and sometimes it's too much, right? Because of who she is, but also, like, she is that person that's like, "I will forgive you." Like, "I will, we'll figure this out," and whatever. At the same time, then, certain people will take advantage of that, and that's where she's learned to separate those things and, like,
Right.
remove people from her life who haven't contributed to the type of person that she is or, the people that she wants to be around.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta get burned, you
Yeah.
gotta you
All
gotta get
have.
burned to learn your own lessons,
Yeah.
and a friend can say something to you about something you're doing or someone you're hanging out with or a guy that you're dating, but it always, I mean, there should be, I think, an inherent respect for your friend.
Yeah.
Like there should be like a hear me out moment. But
Yes.
sometimes, yeah, you just gotta like, it's like parenthood too. It's like, you just gotta let the kid
Yeah,
make some mistakes. But a good friend will be there when you come to them and be like, "Hey, you were right," or "Hey, this happened." Even if like there have been, things that have happened to my friends that I'm like, "Oh, I like had a gut feeling, but I was like
Mhm. Yep.
worried
yeah.
to say something, or I did say things and it caused a rift, and but I'm here when if and when you realize it too."
I think, like, I go back to, like, we argue too, just like we're family, right? Like, A good friend is someone who can do that with you.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I'll call myself out. I would say, and any of my friends, feel free to call me out in the comments, but I feel like I don't fight with my friends.
Mm.
Yes, I can name at least 1 or 2, riffs that have happened throughout my very, very long-standing friendships, but, like, I really don't fight with them, and that's not to be like, "Oh, I don't fight with my friends." Like, I know that that sounds insufferable, but I guess I'm willing to call myself out and be like, "Do I?" And I'm like, don't even realize it because we're just such good friends that I'm, like, not even considering a fight?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably.
Or am I acquiescing? Like, I don't feel like that, but I don't know. I just I have other acquaintances that have told me like, "Oh, yeah, like, I was in a fight with my friend," and I was like, "Oh," like, I almost feel left out. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but I think it's okay.
I think there's 2 sides because I think that especially at our age, anybody who's, like, constantly fighting with your friends, I'm like, "You're the problem."
Yeah,
Like,
that's not good
if you're
either.
constantly
Right.
fighting with everybody, like, you gotta at some point, like, look at yourself. I think it's how you fight. Like, I think Alyssa and I fight like sisters. Like,
Literally.
like, we'll
Mhm.
snap, we'll freak out. Alyssa screamed at me at her bachelorette party, and I was like, "She's fine."
I was like, "You're making me mad."
Yeah, well, I was never mad at her. I was just like, "Whatever." I know what's really going on in your head, so I know that you're yelling at me because you can't yell at who you actually wanna yell at. I also have to admit that, like, I was picking on her a little too much, and she, like, had it. And
Yeah.
then, like, we went to the next bar, and she was like, "Oh, I forgive you now." And I was like, "Oh, you forgive me?" I was like, "You forgive me. You're the one who screamed at me, but you forgive me. Okay."
Yeah, there's something about and I don't know if this is healthy or not, but there is something about, like, a sister relationship that can translate to friendship where you don't necessarily talk everything through. Some things you just are kinda like, "I forgive you." "Oh, you forgive me? Alright, fuck you,
Yeah, I
bitch, let's
was
get a
like,
drink." Like,
"Yes."
there is some of that too, and, like, I don't know if that's right, but it's not pushing things under the rug. It's just we're not dissecting every little thing. Like, some of it we'll talk through and some of it we'll just forget about.
Well, I mean, listen, I say this all the time. Was it something that was, like, actually detrimental? Alyssa was right. I was probably picking on her a little too much because I tend to pick on people a little too much.
And I'm sensitive. I'm
And
very sensitive.
Y
oh, let me tell you,
You're
for the
so
entire
opposites.
Alyssa and I used to fight in, like, high school, like, when you're supposed to fight. I'd be like, "You're just too sensitive." And she'd be like, "No, you're just a bitch."
Right, and neither one of those is good or bad. It's like, you're just the opposite.
When I was in the outpatient program during COVID, I was home in, New Jersey. Alyssa was one of the people that, like, really encouraged me to get, like, I was, even though I was in therapy, like, it was like, okay, like, clearly once a week therapy is not enough. I think that it was really hard for me because on paper, like, there should have been nothing wrong with my life. Like, everything on paper was so great that I was having a really hard time being like, "No, like, something's, like, wrong." Like,
Mm,
something is, and that's when I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And, like, Alyssa was one of those people because like, Alyssa studied psychology in school, like, she works in a school, she's been a teacher in a classroom. I was minimizing it, and then she wasn't
Yeah.
letting me minimize it
yeah.
anymore. I think this would be a perfect time to transition into the fun part. I think it's about that time.
You know it as a little silly, a little slutty. It's just like us. It's the millennial mouthfuls. This is where we talk about what we love, what we hate, what we're watching, what we're doing, what's bugging us. Mostly me. I mostly have the complaints that I'm bringing to the table, but it's the millennial mouthfuls. Alyssa just got married. I say, I mean, like, we're talking like a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Like 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Incredible. Alexis is under a year. I'm just over a year. So we felt like let's talk about some wedding stuff. I realize you're probably so sick of it, Alyssa. That's how I felt after the wedding. Like, everybody wanted to like rehash, and I was like, I've been thinking about nothing else for the last 3 years. I don't want to fucking talk about the wedding anymore. And like nobody, like, people would look at me funny and be like, I need to just not talk about it for a couple
Mhm.
more months. When the wedding videos come in, we'll talk about it again.
So true. It
How are
takes a
you
toll.
feeling?
after the wedding, I was like, a weight was lifted off because that
Mm.
month before, oh my gosh, I went from like,
Mm.
I'm a very type A person. Like, I love to plan everything, right? So I was excited about that, but no one really prepares you for like a switch that clicks in your head. And I turned into like the nastiest psychopath. Like, truthfully, like, I feel bad for my husband
Is
because the
she
month.
really, Alexis, or is she just being,
Not to
mean to
me, but I
herself?
know that I don't have to go to bed with her at night.
It was
That's
just like
true. No one
it
will
was
ever know.
it was all the little things, right? Like, you get this, like, new level of stress that I think
Mhm.
I was like, what is this? Like, what why am I feeling like this?" And it
Yeah.
wasn't that things weren't planned because they were done. It was just like, "Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh." Everything seemed like an emergency and nothing was an emergency.
Mhm.
Um, but everything also went wrong. Like, I don't know if you guys had bad luck before your wedding, but Alexis knows everything went wrong the week of my wedding.
So sorry.
You have notoriously bad luck. So, like, I don't know what you did in a former life or anything, but I had a friend say this to me, and she was so right. You hope that you're only planning a wedding one time. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can sit here and say some of the things I stressed out about, some of the things that, like, I freaked out about. Like, yeah, now I can easily say, I wish I never, like, dealt with that. Like, my husband and I got into the biggest fight 2 days before my wedding, so bad that I was screaming at him and I didn't realize it, and my dad was here and my sister were here. My dad came running down the stairs and was like, "Alexis, you need to go outside." Like, I
Wow. Wondering, was it about the wedding or was it the pressure of the wedding?
well, I think that's what was underlying, but we got into a fight over how much to tip the service staff.
Oh, that'll do it.
I think I blacked out the day of my wedding. Alyssa was like, "You were such a bitch." Like, Alyssa was
Oh,
so calm the day of her wedding.
he was like a drill sergeant. She was like, you do this, and we were like her poor sister. I was like, oh, I was like, at one point, Ash, I was in the bathroom for a solid hour just because I was like, I'm gonna let her be. Like, I was sitting down with my sticky bra. I think she needs space.
If I could do something differently, I wouldn't have had 11 bridesmaids. I wouldn't have had so many people around me because I think obviously, my mom passed away, like, it was like 15 months at that point. So, like, I
Mhm.
was already dealing with all the emotional stress of that,
Yeah,
and then I had 11 bridesmaids. I had my mother-in-law, my 2 aunts. I had all the hairstylists, all the makeup art, like,
there's
I
a lot of
just
people.
like, and I think that now in hindsight, after kinda being with you the day, like, Alyssa's the day of her wedding, like, you were so, like, things were just so calm. I think I looked at our wedding like the event. I went into, like,
Mm,
full event planner mode. So, I was like a drill sergeant because I was like, "I have 11 fucking girls that need to get ready, get in dresses," and then I get that from my mother, like, I can be very direct and very cold when I need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I project manage the shit out of my wedding, and that's what I do for work. So, like,
Right.
again, people who were there, feel free to call me out. But I feel like I was pretty good the day of because it was sort of like I'm one of those people who at that point was like, "Well, I've done literally the best that I could do. I've
yep.
set everything up. I've given everyone instruction. Did everyone follow said instruction? No. Did things go wrong? Yes. But I gave myself like the 48 hours before was sort of my shut off valve where I was like, I've PM'd the shit out of this. What can happen will now, like, there's really nothing that I can do, and I just had to focus on him. Like, I just had to yes, I wanted to look pretty and I wanted things to happen, and they did, like, but those were set up. Like, I just wanted to focus on him. So I think I was a good girl the day of.
I'm gonna ask you a question because obviously I was laid off, so I was not working when I got married. But Ashley, the week of your wedding, were you working?
I took the week before off and the week of. I'm guessing Alyssa did not.
I did not.
Most people, listen, my husband took the week off. This bitch was working
Mine
up
too.
until the Tuesday before her wedding. And
How?
because she's insane. I actually called her husband and I said, "You need to lock that bitch to a chair in the house."
Mhm.
And I don't know if he
Yeah.
told you this, But then I started crying. I was on the phone with him being because I was like, she just deserves to have this day. And like, I don't like, well, Ashley knows because I cried to her too. I was like, I can't do anything. And like,
I know.
I called him and I was like, do I need to get on a plane? Like, I will get
Yeah.
on a plane. I was like, I was like, you don't understand. Like, her brain is like, and it is a
Mm.
Windows, like, just like a million tabs open.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, something needs to close. But, one of the reasons Alyssa's so good at her job is because she is so dedicated. But I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, the last thing this girl needs to be worried about right now is her actual job.
What in tarnation let you do that to yourself?
See, I don't know. I think one, I like to be busy to a certain extent. Like I'm always in my job, I'm always multitasking. I'm in multiple buildings. I'm working with all these people. So I like the go, 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 go. I also think that sometimes it's my downfall because I throw myself into work to not actually realize what's going on. Right. So I was like, oh,
Mm.
we're gonna be fine. I'm not gonna be stressed about this wedding. I'm just gonna go about my normal routine. And it did hit me though, because then I started to be like, oh my God, I thought I was getting sick. I was like pumping myself with emergency to the point my stomach was like bubbling.
No pun intended, but the wheels did start falling off of the wagon.
No, like actually, my car had to get towed the week of my wedding.
What was a couple things that went wrong? So your car got towed?
I was driving on a highway over here on my way home from work, going to my nail appointment because I scheduled everything. I had my spray tan, I had my hair, I had my nails. Everything was a day, right? That's our type A personality. I'm driving, all of a sudden my car's like, "Dul, dul, 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 dul." And it's a new car, so it should not do that. And so I'm like, shaking baby over here trying to figure out what's happening. Apparently there was a recall I didn't know about, so my car had to get towed. So that was the first thing. I was late to my nail appointment. That was another thing.
Your car breaking down, I think in hindsight was a good thing because I think that's the moment you gave up. Like you stopped trying to
Oh.
do everything.
I was like, hands up.
This is actually probably gonna be funny for you. So you called me because your car broke down, and and that's when you snapped, and I was like, let it out, let it out. And so we hung up the phone. Then I called your now husband, and I said, what the hell is going on? Like,
No.
I basically was like, we need to get her to stop. Like, we just need to get her to chill. I was like, let me know if I need to get on a plane. Because I was like, I will come down there early. Like, let me know what we need to do. He calls me an hour later and goes, you need to get on a plane. And then I said, no, he goes, you need to get on the plane. Her spray tan lady canceled. And I said, hold on. I said, I'm going to call her sister, her younger sister.
No.
And he's like, well, what? Is she not going to be able to get spray tan? And I go, you live in the fucking state of the orange girl. You're going to
Don't
be
you
able to get
worry,
spray
honey.
tan. So then I hung up. Then I call your sister. And the best thing ever is your little sister, who is let me tell you, that girl takes bullshit from no one.
Yeah,
And
she's a
she was like,
firecracker.
oh my God, she's so funny. She was like, everything is fine. Like, we've got it handled. I was like, okay, because I don't know. I talked to her with the car. And then while I'm on the phone with your sister, you text her, your toenail fell off.
Oh
So
my God. Another thing. Random. Why? I literally took my boot off and they started filing it and my toenail completely disintegrated. And the
Wait.
lady said to me, she's like, acrylic? I'm like, no, I don't want an acrylic toenail.
So wait, your physical toenail fell off?
Yes. Yes.
Had you had a prior skiing accident?
No. I
What?
don't know if my body was just like, I'm done. It just like fell off.
Projecting.
I literally had a nub. They had to glue an acrylic toenail, like a nail on it, cut it, file it, yada, yada,
the
yada.
Gel X nail. It happens to the best of us. I've lost toenails.
I'm just like, and like, again, doesn't matter. My shoes were closed.
Okay, that's what I didn't realize. So I'm on the phone with your sister, and your sister goes, Alexis, because her sister calls me Alexis. Her shoes are closed-toed. And I was like, listen, I don't care if they're granny shoes. That's not what we need to focus on. And then she goes, Alexis, her shoes are closed-toed. I go, so this doesn't even matter if this bitch has a toenail or not.
Right. Let's close that tab. I get it though. You want to feel like, I think about like most
Yes,
of my
what
dress
about you?
covered
Yes.
most of my body, but I still wanted a spray tan because I just wanted to
Yes.
feel
Good.
my best. And
Yeah.
like,
She got a spray tan. Don't worry.
and part of that is,
Oh, I
having your pedicure done. And
Absolutely.
damn, no.
I also think my husband was like, at the time, he was like, "Are you looking for problems?" He's like, "Your toenails are fine. This is it." And I do think we start to then like spiral and we're like,
Yeah.
"Everything's going wrong." And really, no, it wasn't. And it was fine. And I kept saying like people probably have worse things happen to them. Like it really wasn't a big deal. But in that moment,
Yeah.
because I think your stress is so high,
So
your
stressed.
immunity is low, like everything feels like it's like the end of the world. It was great though.
Do you know what they don't prepare you for? And I think I said this to you offline. I was so emotional watching you get married. I think this is what happens because we've been best friends for so long. I know all of the good that's happened in your life, but I'm gonna get upset. I also know all the other things you've been through. And like I really wanted you to have that moment because like I felt like nobody deserved it more. Um, so I think like I was carrying all of this stress of like, she just
Mhm.
deserves to have this moment. Then I screamed at the groomsmen and I felt better after.
Were they,
Like
like, fucking around? What was the
well, so here's the thing. People when we were taking pictures and people started like coming. So where they were like, "Oh my God, we need to hide the bride," right? So it was so funny. My venue grabs like a sheet and they're like, "Groomsmen, surround her and put the sheet over them and walk, like put it like up like a curtain," right? So
Yeah.
we started doing that. And Alexis was like, "Listen, motherfuckers." She's like, "You're gonna walk and you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that." And they all were like, "You're not gonna fucking ruin my friend's day." Yeah, she was like, "You're gonna shut the fuck up." And we were like, and then we started walking. And then finally, when we got to the entrance, I was like, "Alexis, you can't do that
It's like,
again."
and I was like,
But she
they
didn't.
listened.
She already did
I
it.
was like, but then they listened.
They
And
did.
let me tell you,
Yeah.
I said to my dad at the reception, I was like, "Oh, Dad, I yelled at the groomsmen." He was like, he started laughing. He was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I might have told everybody to shut the fuck up and fucking turn
Yeah.
around and boom."
But you know what? That's I think, yes, you might have been like, "Oh, you can't do that." But also sometimes, and this is like an overall friendship thing, but definitely on your wedding day and definitely important moments in your life where like your friends like can and should serve as your buffer. Like
Yeah.
maybe you
Mhm.
can't say anything because those are your future husband's little brothers or whatever. And so like you don't, like you don't want to be the bad guy. So let your girl be the bad guy. My friends and I have said to each other, like, "Oh, yeah, like, if so and so's a problem at your birthday party or if so and so whatever at your wedding, like, I'll step in. Like, don't even worry about it." Like, it just kind of goes with the territory. I'm sure your wedding was amazing, both of you. Mine was. But do you ever look back and be like, you know, I don't think I'd do that again? Looking back, like, was it worth the level of effort? Was it worth the stress?
I think that ultimately we had the wedding that we didn't have that many people. Like there were 100, but it still felt like a lot. Like one of our big things is I feel like weddings are more about other people. Like I go
They
back,
are.
like
Yeah.
I love my husband more than anything, and I would have been fine if we were like went away and did it. But we kept saying like, but what about our grandparents? And what about this one? And what about that one?
Yeah.
And so like ultimately, yeah, like we did it for us as a day to celebrate. We had the best time ever. We had so much fun. Like our pictures are beautiful, etc. However, I was so worried about everyone else. I was like stupid shit, like the seating chart.
Mhm.
No one's gonna look back and be like, "Oh, she put me with this one." But, like, in my mind, that was, like, an issue for some reason, and so I think, like,
Yeah.
the the stress leading up to it and the stupid things of, like, the process, I think really gets to people's heads, and I think, like, that to me, that threw me off a little bit, so I think I took away from that experience, but ultimately, like, yeah, it would be would we do it differently? Maybe it would be, like, just the 2 of us and then having, like, a big party. I probably could have enjoyed the process a little bit more versus, like, becoming, like
I don't think you need to get mad at yourself for that part though, because like it no part of the okay, I might be wrong, but for like no part of that process was fun for me. Yeah, actually that's not true. I liked the accoutrement. Like I liked picking out some of the decor and things like that.
Okay.
And I liked trying on the wedding dresses. Like that was a lot of fun. But like for me, it was too many decisions. And I just felt like I was having such decision fatigue that
Yeah.
like the week of my wedding, I told my mother-in-law, I was like, "You can pick out the menu for the rehearsal dinner." I was like, "I need these 3 things, but other than that, I was like, "I cannot make another decision." Like, I can't.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Because I insisted on being the decision maker, and my
Yeah,
mom helped a
same.
lot with the wedding, like, really was, like, my right-hand person, but I found myself sometimes, like, getting defensive, like, "No, I want it this way, like, I don't want it, like, the way you want it," or whatever, and she's like, "Okay, then we'll do it
Yeah.
the way you want it." Like, for some reason, it was, like, it was, like, it was, like, I couldn't make enough decisions, like, I was like, "I wanna know every little detail, and I wanna decide every little thing," so it's yeah, different things for different people. For me, 2 weeks before the wedding, I hated everything. I was like, "I hate my
What?
dress, I hate my decor, I hate whatever." I knew I had enough wherewithal to know that these feelings were not real,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but the mistake not the mistake, but the thing that if I could do it all over again, I would change was that we were engaged for 3 years,
Okay.
and we planned the wedding for 2 years, and 2 years is too long, I think.
Mhm.
I felt that a year wouldn't be enough, but I think 2 was too long because you make decisions at the very beginning that you have to live with for the next 2 years, and it all worked out, but I think that was also part of it, was like, I've been looking at the same color palette, the same decor, the same things, the same boxes and
Mhm.
that are stacking up in my living room, the same menus, like, I've been looking at the same things for months, if not over a year, and I'm just fucking sick of it. And obviously, that all dissipated and it was gorgeous and I was so happy, but, like, I had to text a friend who had been married a couple years before and be like, "Is this normal?" And she was like, "So normal. Like, it'll pass. Just keep going." And I was like, "Okay, okay." It couldn't change anything anyway. Wouldn't
It's so
matter.
funny you say that because the dress thing, I was, like, getting in my head about it. I was like, "Oh my god." I
Were
kept
you really?
yeah, and I was like, "Oh, do I like it? I don't know if I like it. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that." And then
No, your dress was perfect. You looked perfect.
but I still think though, like, you start questioning every decision that you make. It's the type A in us, I think, too, of, like, going back and being like, "Well, did I make the right decision?"
If anybody listening is getting married or planning a wedding, I actually wanna say this, and I said it to Alyssa. I was I my friends that had already gotten married were so helpful
Yeah.
in the weeks leading up to the wedding because I shared like a note that I had that were like things that I need to not forget.
Yeah.
And like they put things on the list that I would have never even
Yes.
thought of.
Yes.
So like I do have to say, like, if you're planning a wedding, and hopefully you have some friends that have gotten married before. If you're the first, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, they, I think, were the most help because they could be like, that thing that you're freaking out about here really doesn't matter. But this thing that you're not thinking about, think about it. And like,
Mhm.
but like, you
Yeah.
don't know. You
Yeah, you
don't
really don't.
know.
And if you are a type A person, I guess I can only speak for myself, but you're okay with getting that
Yeah.
information. You can't get
Yes.
enough
Mhm.
information.
Yep,
You're like,
yep.
"Tell me where my blind spots are. Tell me," maybe for
Mhm.
a type B person, it might be overwhelming, or it
Yep.
might be like, "Oh, I wouldn't have even thought of that." For me, it was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Thank
Mhm.
goodness." I agree.
Well,
Yeah,
none of
I
us
had
had wedding planners either.
we
Like, we all did
Yeah.
it, which
Yep,
which
yep.
was a choice for all of us, but
Yeah.
I think to your point, it's like we wanted to have the control. We wanted to be the one to like, even though I
totally.
had decision fatigue, we wanted to be the one to make
Listen, if
decisions.
I had all the money in the world, maybe I would have hired a planner, but their function would have been more execution,
Yeah.
less strategy, less idea. Like I pretty much knew what I wanted the run of show to be and obviously what I wanted decor to be and the food but like I had all of my choices, but I would have hired someone just to like alleviate some of the execution. But you know what? Now that I'm saying that out loud, I would have micromanaged the shit out of that person. I would have been like,
Know
CC me on
yourself.
everything, put me on all the comms. Like, I
Yep,
would have. So,
yep.
you know what? I would have been a nightmare. It doesn't matter if I had all the money in the world. It probably wouldn't work
Mhm.
out.
Know thyself.
Yeah, it's too expensive. That's the only thing I'll say. How dare they? How dare they?
It is so expensive.
I was showering today and I was thinking about like my husband and I paid for the majority of our wedding ourselves and we pretty much paid for the majority in cash. However, because of all that cash and basically, plowing through a lot of our savings to pay for the wedding, like, I was thinking today as I was washing my hair, I was like, I feel like I'm still recovering.
Absolutely.
Like but like there are things that had to get put off to make
Yeah,
way for the wedding that are now coming
absolutely.
to pass that I have to pay for that I would have normally just been able to pay for, but could.
I personally wanted to elope. Like, I wanted to do like super, super small. My husband wanted the big wedding. So then I said, if we're going to do the big wedding, we're going to fucking do the big wedding.
Yep.
So because I do things at extremes. So I spared no expense.
Yeah.
I was like, the only thing I didn't get that I wanted were Maryland crab cakes and a raw bar. Like, we had 22 people in the fucking bridal party. Of course it was a
Yeah,
big
yeah, that
wedding.
doesn't tell
Like,
you. I don't know what will.
I think for me to do it differently would have been to elope, because if I was going to do it, I was going to do it.
That's a great point.
To me, the food was like my thing that of like I thought of, and I don't know, like, I'm Italian, so I like to eat. I was like, the food better be top notch. Like,
Yep.
I don't want anyone hungry to the point where, like, our after party, I was like, we need more food. We need pizza. We had the cocktail hour was insane. Like, Alexis can tell you, between our cocktail hour,
It was
our
a Jersey wedding. She had a Jersey wedding.
we
Yeah,
had
I
like a
love
prosciutto
that.
tower at one point. I look back at the pictures. I go, I miss the meat tower.
Wait, when I was talking to
Oh,
your
goodness.
dad the next day and he was like, "Oh my god, the eggplant rollatini was so good." I was like, "What? There was eggplant rollatini, I missed it." He goes, "Yeah, it was in the back by the creme brulee." I was like, "Well, I'm not going to go back and get it."
Alexis, was it you and I talking the other day about how I never made it to the charcuterie table at my wedding?
Yes,
Was
we
you and I
were.
there was,
I
like
like didn't eat. I
I
didn't
got
eat.
out to the cocktail hour and there was supposed to be I mean, there was, everyone verified this for me. There was supposed to be like a charcuterie table, but it was like I kept getting stopped on my way to the other
Oh
side of the
yeah.
lawn.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, and the cocktail hour was over and I never saw it. And, there weren't any pictures of it because I told the photographer, I'm like, you don't need to like take pictures of the food and like people eating.
Food.
I literally had to ask people. I was like, was it nice? Like, was it okay?
Oh
Like,
my
there
gosh.
is not a an indication in sight that it existed, but apparently it did. But isn't that funny? Like, y that's
It's
the that
crazy.
that pisses me off a little where I'm like,
Well, Alyssa, your venue whisked the two of you away.
Yeah, they were really good. Like right after our ceremony, they're like, "We want to give you time to yourself." They actually brought everything from our happy hour upstairs for us, and so we had all the food on the table. And we got to like pick. We were so excited. We didn't eat anything. Like
Told
I,
you.
I
"Yep,
love food so much, and she kept saying, "You're not gonna eat," and I was like, "Bitch, yes, I am. What do you mean I'm not gonna eat? I'm gonna eat the food that I bought, right?" And I think we tried like the mac and cheese, and then we were
yeah."
just like our adrenaline kicked in, and we were like talking, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, oh, time to go out. And then it was boom, reception. And then like I think I took a bite of my steak at the reception. And then I just drank. I was on a liquid diet all night.
Tell me that they sent you home with a plate.
Yeah, they sent us
Good,
home with trays. So the next
good.
day we went to pick up like all of our stuff and they gave us trays of food. So it
Oh,
was
even
like
better.
we ate it for days. It was
Good.
trays of food, it was our cake, it was dessert, we had pastries, we had food for days. So it was nice. We still got to eat it, but I'm still like, what was there that I missed that I'm still
Yeah.
mad about?
One of you said something earlier about how you have to remember it's for you and like you start thinking about the guests.
Yep. Yeah.
I resonate with that because there was a point, not to mention, I live in Texas and had my wedding in Texas. None of my friends or family live in Texas. Everyone was flying here, taking time off work, staying in a hotel or Airbnb. Like it was a multi-day thing for 100 people to come out and participate in. Like I and, I'm my mother's daughter. I like to be a good hostess, and
Yep.
so there
Yep.
was a part of it that felt like, well, they're coming here for me, but like I am hosting them in some capacity. So I do feel responsible for the way the food tasted or, that everyone got their drinks on time and that the directions made sense. Like there was a sense of responsibility. And let me tell you something, there was a little bit of like a riffraff with the coordinator because we did have a day of coordinator and part of their review was me saying like there were things that certain guests didn't get to experience and that was unacceptable, where it was like some people didn't even know there was a signature drink or they didn't get to try this, and I was just like, that's unacceptable because I wouldn't have put this much effort into hosting this event. Yes, it's for me and I liked it, but like they came here for me and they didn't get to experience what I set up for them. Like that really
Mhm.
pissed me off. So you know what? It is still a party.
I felt the same way as you, Ashley, because while most of my friends and like my husband's whole family are in Mass, everybody from my side
Yeah.
had to come to Boston. Well, my wedding wasn't in Boston, but I had to come to the Boston area. So like I wanted to make sure that the room block had like there was stuff for people to do in the area, like to walk
Mhm.
to, because there is nothing worse than being in a room block that has nothing around it. Like I'm sorry, I will say, if you're planning a wedding,
That's a
think
great
about where
that's a great
think
tip.
about where your room block is. On that note, Lissy, thank you
Mhm.
so much for coming on. Very exciting moment. We being the Millennial Matriarch podcast is on Instagram. So if you want to follow our podcast page, it is at the Millennial Matriarch Pod, one word. If you want more of our daily chaos, hot takes, and semi-responsible wisdom, follow Ashley and I on social. I am, don't get confused, at the _millennial_matriarch. Ashley is at Millennial Mind of Ash on TikTok and Instagram. We are serving questionable decisions, comforting truths, and the occasional, wait, am I the drama moments? Spoiler, yes. Always yes. For more episodes of The Millennial Matriarch, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Substack, and YouTube. Please rate, review, subscribe. Until next time, drink some water, trust your gut, and remember you're the matriarch of your own fucking castle. Act like it. Love you. Mean it. Bye.